Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be a bit strange, as I'm going to be going through new branding to hopefully fit a bit better in YouTube search algorithms, as the Mad Hatter is kind of taken by Disney, and I don't want to fuck with Disney. No one wants to fuck with Disney. So I've changed the name to Rabbit in Glasses, specifically because, well, I had to go with something, really. A few of you may understand why, specifically. However, I guess from now on I shall be known as Rabbit, so that's something. Anyway, this is Rimworld. When we last left off, we were doing things. I want to load this one. Ignore that. So, what were we going to do today? I believe I forgot to explain research in the previous episode. Research is pretty simple, however, it is also one of the core mechanics of the game that you cannot win the game without knowing how to work it. Let me just check if I'm recording here for a minute. Yes, I am. Hooray! And it's not being overloaded. That's even better. So, the way research works is you set down a research table, in this case a wooden one, and your colonists will occasionally run by and do some research when they have some free time from their other jobs. Sorry. That being said, research is also one of those things that is at the end of the list. So it's also one of the last things to finally actually get done. However, research also gives you some pretty good shit. For instance, currently we are researching stone cutting. This allows us to build with bricks and cut bricks, which is also very good. And then electricity. We're going to be rushing for that. Because electricity is needed to use the most effective work tables, I guess is the word, in the game. We also need a lot of wood. I've come to find out through testing that wood is a very necessary resource on this map. Despite its rarity, I'm going to be needing a lot of it until we get that first harvest of bamboo. Where did I put the bamboo? Oh, yeah, I moved it over here. Until we get that first harvest of bamboo, the wood is going to be very important and also in short supply. This means fueled buildings are going to have to be very efficient, which is unfortunate because it's the only way we can cook. You could probably start to see the issue with this map now. It would be much easier if we could plant things like words. If we could plant things like fruit, the colonists don't actually mind eating fruit so much. So there's that. Let's see, let's select all of this because agave is a medicine and these berries are a type of food that the colonists don't particularly mind eating raw, even though we have some sweet buns, cream buns, whatever you wish to call them. And these do give a buff, which is nice, and once we actually get fruit, I'm going to be planting a very long line of some kind of fruit for pies, specifically, because pies also give a bonus like sweet buns, but you can make them in much higher quantities without having to plant sugarcane, and sugarcane tends to back up your sugarcane tends to back up your plantables, I guess is the word for it. Let's see. You know, eventually they'll get this done, hopefully. It'd probably help if I sped things up a little. Eventually they'll get that done. Luciferium, yes. Someone was questioning why Luciferium was so bad in Discord. Luciferium is a concoction of advanced literal mechanites, which are nanites, specifically. This game uses slightly off terminology just to be a little bit different, that dramatically improve the body's functioning in all respects. It can even, over time, heal old, scarred over wounds or brain damage. Unfortunately, without the moderating effects of regular doses every 5 or 6 days, the mechanites lose cohesion, causing continuous berserk rages and eventually death. That means if you do not have a steady supply of Luciferium, or at least a very, very large bulk amount, you will lose colonists to Luciferium. That you just straight up will. And you can do that if someone goes on, say, like a yayo binge, which is cocaine, or wake up binge, etc., etc. Flake is like crack, which there is a difference between crack and cocaine. Crack is the worst cut version of cocaine. You get more flake, but it gives you less bonuses. This means that, well, individually they sell for less. You get more of it, which ends up turning a higher profit. Anyway, on the herb worlds, they call Luciferium the Devil's Bargain. Many have been forced to kill friends when no more of these seductive red pills could be found. What they do is they increase blood filtration by 70%. This means they gain immunity faster, they get rid of diseases and parasites faster, and they just overall are healthier human beings. On top of that, they also gain additional blood pumping, which means that they get hungrier a bit quicker, but they also have higher manipulation and cognitive functions. Breathing, they breathe better. Consciousness, they do everything better. We've already seen the effects of higher consciousness. In addition, it's rather expensive to sell. Metabolism, like I said, it does increase how hungry you are. Moving also increases that. It also reduces pain and increases sight. So it's just a general overall buff. Some people use Luciferium as a late game method of boosting your colonist after they've already been installed with pretty much every bionic in the book. Not this book. Shitty puns. As a way to increase them even further, as an alternative to AI cores will cause their break threshold to be excessively high. In addition, they will feel pain a lot more. Menino from the Kobold Horde was wandering nearby and noticed you could use some help. She would like to join your colony for a while. She's a Kobold Maverick, and her traits are Jogger, Trigger-Happy, Pyromaniac, Depressive, Lazy, and Prosthephile. I would be more willing to go for her if she was not Pyromaniac. Surprisingly, Depressive and Lazy are not as bad as they seem. Depressive just means that they'll constantly have a mood minus, which can be very easily offset with drugs and fucking art, just extra joy time, etc. Lazy just means they're overall slower, which is, again, not that bad. Prosthephile, I've explained my why I'm so torn about it in the episode 0. The general TLDR of it is they have a mood minus until you get them a prosthetic. It's a very small mood minus. However, as a tribal society, we're not going to be able to get them a prosthetic for a very long time. Jogger actually offsets the Lazy. Trigger Happy means they will shoot more and they will do melee more, but they will be less accurate. It's kind of the opposite of Careful Shooter. Pyromaniac means they'll just go crazy and light fires, and considering our base is mostly made up of wood, and is going to be mostly made up of wood for a very, very long time, at least until someone will finally get on research. Rhyme. Let's turn off her construction. And her mining. She doesn't need to mine or construct. I'm going to keep her plant cut on, though, because I would like her to do research. Research requires that you actually have someone sitting at the research bench doing research, as you could probably tell. So it could be seen as kind of a waste, I guess, but it gets you new things, which allows you to make use of colonists a bit better. Let's see, I'm looking for joy. I'll wait until we have stone production up before doing that. Boom rat. Let's see. So the general gist of giving them all these jobs is, unfortunately, Rhyme will also run out to plant cut. I might just actually lower her plant cut and raise her research a little bit, so she's more likely to research rather. Yeah, there we go. The reason I want her researching is because the sooner we can get stone production, the sooner we can replace all of these walls with much sturdier, non-flammable materials. Specifically, let's see what stones we have. Sandstone and granite. Probably granite, possibly sandstone. Granite is the stronger of the two stones thanks to the stone rebalancing mod I have. In addition to that, it just kind of looks nicer. It's not brown. It doesn't look like someone made shit bricks and built something out of it for whatever reason. Speaking of, that brings me to Dead Man's Apparel, and you may be wondering, how did shit bricks go to clothing? Well... Oh, hey, squirrel. Squirrel! Hunt the squirrel. So Dead Man's Apparel is what you get when you have when you kill someone. It's the clothes they were wearing while they died. Apparently, whenever a colonist or whatever or raider dies, they shit themselves so violently that their entire clothes, that their entire uniform, clothing, whatever, turns completely brown, and no one is willing to wear it anymore at all. They get a fairly massive mood minus for it, though. However, an alternative to that is if you strip them before you kill them, it will not inflict Dead Man's Apparel on a Dead Man's Apparel tag on the clothing for whatever reason. I don't understand it either, it just happens. The reason I have it paused is because I want to get a growing zone. For... where'd it go? Wheat. We don't produce enough flour with just rice. Rice has a minus to producing flour, so... It grows quicker than wheat does. It'd probably do better if I moved flour up somewhere else. But anyway, so yeah. Like, that's 50 rice going into the mill. And only about 20 flour, maybe 10. Whereas wheat produces a lot more flour. I think it produces about 40-ish flour for every 50. Yeah, it only produces like 15, I think. Which is pretty bad. And you can use the flour in meals, so I'm not too worried about that. I think you can, anyway. Let's have a look. Cook simple meals. Meat, animal products, eggs, fertile, insect jelly. Insect jelly is a thing we will probably never have to deal with. Maybe. Insects kind of were an answer to people holing up in mountains. Let's see. Insect meat. Human meat. Yeah, let's not include human meat. They get a debuff whenever they eat human meat, so long as they aren't a cannibal. Are any of them cannibals? I don't know. Kind. Nudist. Yes, I did make a change to Rhyme. I meant to do it to Alice and added nudist on so that I could show off a mechanic that some people might find entertaining. Basically, if you have a nudist, the hat does not confer the debuff that normally arises whenever you have them clothed. Like right, let's look at Rhyme. Needs constraining clothing. This can actually stack. I'm a nudist, but I have to wear these clothes. It's not unbearable, but I still feel constrained and uncomfortable. However, what you can do with that is you can equip them with a hat. It's weird, but if you give them a toque, that is generally all of the cold resistance they need to not go, oh shit, it's too cold to be naked. Let's go get something to wear. Yeah, that happens. So they'll be fine with just a hat. It's strange, but they do it. I don't know why. I really wish Rhyme would hurry up with the damn... Actually, let's give her something to help with that. I want Furniture Plus. The reason I want it is because of these file cabinets. What file cabinets do is they increase research speed of a research bench by about 5%, and you can only have one of them per research bench. Let's take a look at them. An important place to store important documents about important experiments used for important research on important technologies. And important technologies. Repeating important. That's totally a joke. No, it's not. Increases research speed slightly when next to a research bench. And it's only about 5%. I think it says it on... Yeah, it's only about 5%. I think that's actually based on... I don't know if that's based on what's it? On... Oh yeah, they need a... Let's get them a joy source. Colonists tend to get kind of pissy if you don't give them a joy source. Let's give them horseshoes. Horseshoes for now, because I want to set up chess tables here and here. But I don't have the stone that I want to set them up with. Because again, wood is a very precious resource, and while stone is less comfortable, so I wouldn't recommend it for things like chairs and beds, unless you are certain that you're going to get above a certain crafting level on the chairs and or beds. If they do work for surfaces, so like the prep table, the butcher's table, the oven, so on and so forth, the various workbenches, they work for that. Yeah, most of our colonists are idle because we're waiting on research, which is unfortunate, but it does happen. I could set up Black and Alice to hunt, or I could set up Black and Dog to hunt. It would get them some melee skill. Let's see, Black is the better hunter of the two. So I want him to, well no, let's not do it on a 2, let's do it on a 3. He can go hunt the squirrel. I'll just have him hunt small things. You could haul it, you know. You fucking cunt. Another thing we could do is queue up some of this. Orders. Let's see, vein mine. Actually, for now, I don't really want them mining full tilt, and Alice kind of... Let's turn mining down a little bit. For, like, in the future, it'll become much more important, but for now, I'm just giving them something to do so they're not wasting time. Okay, there we go. Stone cutting. Build stone cutting tables which allow you to refine rock chunks, these things, into stone blocks that can be used for construction. Okay, and I believe next up is electricity. Electricity is very strange in this game. At least to me, but that's mostly because I generally play with spacer starts rather than tribal starts. So the strange thing about electricity is that... stone cutter. Let's not go with wood. That's fine. I'll rebuild it out of stone later. Recycle some of the wood. And then furniture. Stool. I want this to be of a good quality. So, the reason I have this right here is because I was planning on building the stone cutting table in here. And there's a few time-saving things you can do. Let's see, we have granite. Granite, I'm going to break up these jobs because they're very long-lasting jobs. However, they the sorts of jobs that can take them fucking across the map to do. Let's see, granite and then sandstone. The reason I am doing granite before sandstone is because granite is harder and more beautiful. Yeah. I need to go to 600. Balls. I said it wrong. Sandstone. Do until you have 300. Add bill. Make granite blocks. Do until you have 600. And move that up. So the reason we break this down is because I don't mind if they handle the smaller tasks by going and getting a chunk from way across the map. But these larger tasks are going to take them a lot longer. So I'm going to reduce the ingredient radius to about 35. That keeps them roughly near the base just in case something attacks and I need to draft them. And making sure that they're not way the fuck out across the map. Whereas the smaller task, I'm just fine with them doing the thing. And zone/area. I'm also going to be setting up a stockpile for the clear all. I was going to be setting up a stockpile for the go with important. The reason I have it set to important is because I don't understand why it's always in raw resources rather than manufactured. It is technically manufactured. Alice. Here, let's do a thing. Alice, I would like you to have crafting at a 3. Dog, I would prefer if he was our main crafter, because if you look at these skills right here, he's not a very good constructor. Whereas Black is. And the reason I have these 3 on construction is because despite Alice not having a passion, Alice and Dog not having a passion for it, they're still at least competent. They can at least put up walls and put down flooring, albeit slowly. Whereas Black is going to be our guy for building furniture. Because the skill level actually does increase the level at which he can, or the quality of items he can craft. So like once you get to around 20, you have a pretty good chance to make legendary works all the time. And in fact, that's actually a decent way of making money, is just to make a bunch of legendary stools and then uninstall them and then sell them to a passing trader. Because it happens. Whereas with plant cut, no one really has any particular joy from plant cutting. So I don't really mind. The reason I have Rhyme at a growing level, at a growing importance of 2, is because she and the 2 lads have a passion for it. This means that they increase their skill gain a lot faster. And I might actually take Alice off of growing so that she can go and cook things more and craft and whatnot. Now, another thing. They've changed this workbench, actually. So, used to be it worked off of crafting skill. Now it works off of construction skill. So it's actually a method to train construction. So it would actually be best if someone like Black were the one making bricks. However, I don't mind it too much, because having everyone that's be at least semi-competent at construction is actually not bad. Let's see, we have granite blocks, and I'm fairly sure that's limestone. Now, something we need to build. Granite blocks. We need, because electricity is coming up, we need a kitchen. I'm just looking for a place to put it at the moment. You know what, I think either down here or over here or up here would be pretty decent. The issue being, over here is actually kind of distant from our crops. We'd actually need someone to haul them a fair ways. Whereas down here it's kind of stepping on the toes of potential growing locations. However, that can be fixed with hydroponics later. And I do need to get a wall, like, up here, eventually. That's just going to be a defensive thing. And the reason I'm selecting out these big, huge areas for kitchens is because I like to have a freezer attached. And freezers are very space intensive. And the main reason I'm having issues with up here is because it's a similar issue to over here, just less so, while also stepping on, well, actually, saying that, if I put the entrance to the kitchen about here, I want it to be a 9 by 7, I want it to be a 9 by 7 kitchen. The reason for that is because the kitchen is actually does not actually require that many crafting locations. It does require a few, but far less than I was expecting. Like the ones that you have at the start are pretty much it. However, the main reason I need a big, humongous area is for the freezer. Now, the freezer I've found is best done if you have, let's see, I want a 9 by 9 and another 9 by 9. The reason for this is because the best way to insulate things is with a cavity. Now, what a cavity is because I know there's probably someone out there that doesn't actually know what the fuck a cavity is. Let's see, and then I want to cancel these two. So what a cavity is a small space between the two walls. And this is for air conditioning later. You need air conditioning to build a freezer. Let's see, doors. The reason I'm building the doors out of wood is because opening speed is actually influenced by the material of the doors. Wood and bamboo are the fastest at 100% opening speed, and that means if you build an auto door out of them, they will open instantly. Auto doors are just, you probably know what an auto door is. I don't need to tell you. Just 2 doors. And I'm also going to need a battery shack right about here. The reason I'm having it be a battery shack rather than a battery storage area is because it is, let's see, just need to mine up that area. Is because I don't actually need very many batteries. What's important is that you just have a lot of throughput. Batteries are mainly just a stockpile between the windmills that I'm going to be building because solar panels are a separate research, and I've come around on windmills. Used to be I didn't particularly like them. However, I've learned that they pair well with crops, especially large crop fields, which I have a tendency to build. Because the windmills are blocked by things like walls and being under roofs and trees. But if you plant a crop field in their little exclusion area, your colonists will maintain an area behind them where they just won't grow anything. That can block the windmills. Windmills, not windmills. We have low food. That is not good. But, yeah. We have food that we can... We have food. We have plenty of food. So yeah, the battery shack is mainly just Probably failed because black was in the way. The battery shack is mainly so that we can store power from the windmills that we're going to be building. The freezer is... I would normally have it connected to here, however, we can move the growing area up here. I tend to kind of like to section off my base a bit. We have a raid. Tasca, what does he have? He has Molotov cocktails. Game. That's not very nice, game. What's he going to attack? He is wandering at current, which is fine for now. Kinda hope he picks a fight with a rhino, because that rhino's gonna fuck him up. Either a rhino or an elephant. Let's watch him for a bit. Sorry. Let's check. She has a bite scar on her left leg. She is wearing worn out apparel. She is an ascetic dunce that is also a careful shooter, a psychopath, a cannibal, hates hospitals, and is industrious. What dunce does is it decreases the global learning factor and research speed. However, we have multiple people for researching. We don't really need someone to research. Ascetic means she actually kind of likes it if she has a very, very shit room. Plus, she has pretty good skills. Careful shooter means she's going to, like, you can see it right there. She has plus 25% shooting accuracy, plus 25% aim time. That means she's going to take longer to aim, but she's going to hit more. So that kind of pairs well with things like an LMG that sprays out a giant amount of bolts, but is normally fairly inaccurate. I may actually start looking at constructing proper housing, because this is more of a hospital/joy area, whereas proper housing is probably going to be going over here. If I can capture her... Okay, they're beginning their assault. I've also installed a couple mods. This is Achtung. Achtung allows you to just click and drag. Oh, nope. I want to put them here. So she's probably going to try and chuck a Molotov. So a small thing about clubs. Clubs and other blunt weapons are much more likely to capture an opponent than to kill them. That being said, I actually want these two to move in and... melee attack Tasca. If she's... Yes, she survived. Okay. Let's see. Who is going to sacrifice their bed? Rhyme, I am sorry, but you need to sacrifice your bed for a moment. And... Undraft. Unforbid. I would like Dog to capture Tasca. Atlas, why are you throwing up? She got food poisoning. Damn it. Alice, you're supposed to be our cook. Why? Why does your cooking suck so much? Then again, where she's putting her food is on fucking sand. So that's partially my fault. I'm sorry for shouting at you, Alice. It's not entirely your fault. I'm also a part of this. So, Tasca is... she doesn't really need medicine. But, purple cloth tribe wear. Let's see, prisoner. I would like her chat and recruited. Who is currently our best social person? It's a pretty even toss-up. So, I am going to do a thing. I am going to get granite walls. I have yet to find... I think this is 11. No, it's 9. I have yet to find a proper housing thing. that can be done. However, for now, this will do just fine. Alright, so some of you that know Rimworld a bit better might be saying, Bun, Rabbit, why the fuck are you doing this? Why? Why have you done this? And that's because they actually do complain about having awful bedrooms. However, I'm going to be using more floors. Yeah, the floors do actually, you do actually get more things as you research additional stuff. Or at least more decorative things. Flooring tends to get fucking huge. Like, it'll take up the bottom half of the screen by the time we get all the research done. So I want... see, do we have any... Can we do granite and sandstone? I would like to do granite and sandstone. Oh, we can't do checkered. Damn. I like checkered. It is combining two types of stone together in a pleasing pattern. It adds a bit of beauty to the room, which is nice. On top of it, I just like the general look of it. Some people could argue that it looks like a diner, but I kind of find that aesthetic particularly pleasing. But that's just me. So, yeah. Going to be using sandstone. I have an idea for the general layout of this room, and it involves doing, let's see, paving granite. Now, this stuff I would normally not suggest. However, let's see. However, because the reason I wouldn't suggest it too much is because it actually takes quite a bit of time. Carefully laid stone flooring with a rustic random pattern of slabs. Needs fewer materials than a mosaic, but harder to build. Mosaics take 5. I just use them as accenting, whereas these I've come around to enjoy. Hex paving it takes a while to lay and it's fairly easy to do, so they don't fail it as much. So I don't mind it as much. What did I put here? Random paving. So I did this. Random paving, sandstone. So I did that. The reason I'm breaking it up here is because I like to do slabs. So let's do this and slabs granite. This is my general housing block. I like the little L shape, personally. And you can generally do a lot with this room. You can add a lot of things. And yeah, we have a lot of construction. However, this just kind of happens when you get the ability to build. Generally, I'd already have like all of this shit done if I were in a spacer colony. Whereas, I never really know when to start housing. So yeah, eventually these will either become prison beds or... let's speed things up. Oh, she's 39. That's a bit old. Who is... why? I keep forgetting to turn on self-tend. And Alice. Work. Black. I would like you to go and... can we not? Oh, I was just saying no care. Okay. Okay then. Let's actually look at her health for a little bit. She has no missing parts, but she's in extreme pain. Let's see. Yeah, your colonist can just kind of lay on hands, sort of like a cleric from D&D and whatnot. They don't actually need medicine to treat wounds, however it does improve the quality of the treatment. So for instance, you can see the more white it is, the better quality, the more clean it looks, rather, the better quality of the treatment. On top of that, medicine can be used to treat multiple wounds with a singular use of medicine. However, Black is also just a kind of pretty good doctor, actually. Yeah, he's got a medicine skill of 8. So he can just be healed, slaps the shit out of them, and suddenly they're healed. Somehow. I don't know either. It's weird. Dog Shaman is fully healed. However, bruises, yeah, bruises tend to heal pretty quickly. I do need someone to chat and recruit Taska, though. Do I have her set up to be chat and recruited? Yes, I do. So the way you normally get new people is you have someone talk to them and basically go, "Hey, we'll let you out. We'll let you out if you work for us. Sound good?" Then they'll be like, "No," for most of the time. Like you saw, it was a 2.4% chance to recruit. It's pretty luck-based. So it can take a while. That's why I'm just going ahead and constructing some additional housing. Okay, Dog is doing that. Rhyme is doing research. And why is Alice not cooking? Alice, cook! I know construction work is very important, but for fuck's sakes, we need to have meals on hand. Well, we do have meals on hand, to be fair. To be fair, I would actually like Black to prioritize working on wooden bed. If you would. How bad is it? It's a normal quality. That'll work. Black and Rhyme have come together and are now lovers. So what happens here is generally they just like to sleep together, and if one dies, they're going to be very upset. You might get a marriage, you might not. Marriages can happen. There's not children in this game yet, currently, which saddens me. You'd think there would be. Let's see, Joy. I would like granite. The reason I'm doing granite is because it's also just a good-looking thing. And I would actually like those to be good, because that their beauty is of effect here. Also a small thing about walk speed. On soil, it is 87%, whereas on a floor, it is at 100%. A paved tile increases walk speed by a slight amount, up to like 110, 120%. So it does actually pay to have paved tiles around. Just around the base outside. Even if it does mean that you have to clean a little bit more. Generally, that's offset by the fact that people are moving around more. And yeah, Rhyme isn't going to be too happy about sleeping outside, but at least she isn't sleeping. Yeah, she wants to sleep with Black. But at least she isn't, yeah, she's also very comfortable, tons of joy, very low expectations. This place is poverty-stricken. I can't expect any comfort here. I need to keep myself strong. She's also hungry. She wants to sleep with Black, sleep outside, constraining clothes, feeling good. She just generally feels good. Hooray. Oh yeah, you can see them fucking zipping around now that they have the sweet rolls. They have the kitchen done, so let's start moving things in there. I forgot to build chairs. How dare I? So, I kind of want to wait on electricity in order to get the electric stoves and electric fueled food fueled table thing. Words, butcher table. Lettuce. Can I not make this out of stone? Do I have stone still? Yes, I do. I appear to not be able to make this out of stone. Let's see. Instead, then, I shall make it of wood. So yeah, this room should cover us. I'm kind of being nice and leaving the corners fairly alone. Hooray! Rhyme is planting. Or harvesting, rather. He's going to harvest and then plant. Wow, someone forgot to plant the sugar cane. Sugar cane. I almost said sugar corn for whatever reason. Bamboo. Thankfully, bamboo is almost done. So we can finally get these floors fucking finished, as well as these. Yeah, as well as those. Generally, I like to have good quality beds because, let's see, it does influence the immunity gain factor. It also influences rest effectiveness. So, if you just have to have a less comfortable bed, you will just not get as much rest from it. Oh, we also have slate. I did not realize this. I did not realize we had slate as well. This is an issue. I thought we went for like 2 different things. Limestone, sandstone. Wait, where the fuck did we get granite from? There were granite chunks in there. Yeah, there's granite chunks. What the balls? That's weird. Should also add in slate then. Let's see. Make slate blocks. 2 until you have. No, not 200. Like 300. Slate is the worst of the stones, however, it is also black, so people do tend to prefer the look of it. I'm fine either way, personally. There we go. I should probably select the thing, this one, to only collect from about 35. Let's see, Rhyme is relatively fine. We'll get her room constructed around her eventually. Oh, and we have a raid. Hooray! They were attacking immediately. Hello. Let's see. Also did a little bit of research about weapons. And it turns out that the spear is actually a fairly viable weapon outside of the club, as far as melee goes. This is just an alternative method of winning. A friendly AI from your past named Charlon Whitestone has sent you a message. He reveals that he has a starship hidden on this planet and sends you its world coordinates. If you travel to the ship, Charlon will take you off this Rimworld to the stars. That is an alternative win condition that allows you to Caro. Damn it, Caro. That allows you to I'm probably just going to kill this person. We're already having housing shortages. Let's see now. Needs, health. She's fine, relatively. She has a chemical interest and a green thumb. Like I said in my explanation of Luciferium, chemical interest can kind of kill you. So I would like her stripped black. I would like you to strip Caro. And then move off of her. And then everyone. Target practice. Generally, it is a bit harder to kill people with a club, but you can. Forbid, and then everyone is undrafted. So the reason I say spears are a decent alternative to clubs is because if you can get them in a much better quality, they generally do slightly higher damage than clubs at a slightly lower speed, so it's kind of one of those trade-offs. The reason I prefer clubs is because they, do I have you set to be trained? Yes I do. The reason I prefer clubs is because it's far more likely to capture people. That being said, I also tend to just kind of execute people if they do not meet my standards. as you just saw. Tasca is a kobold. She is urgently. Can someone please feed her? Okay, Black is handling it. He's getting her a sweet bun. Wait, really? She just tried to romance Black. Okay. Weird. Rebuffed by Black, in a little pain, wearing tattered apparel, ugly environment, cramped interior. Yeah, she's not going to be happy about staying here, but she's a prisoner, so that doesn't really matter. 81% difficulty. If Black can convince her that to be our friends, then we'll be doing just fine. What weaponry does she prefer, actually? She prefers shooting by a lot. So we'll probably be getting her a bow then. Or a gun. Something along that line. Recruitment chance failed, and as you can see, it went up because she's slightly happier after treatment and because she had a nice meal. So if you have a very nice prison, then generally the prisoners will be slightly easier to recruit. However, they'll also be more likely to repel. Local gazelle hunt. Like everyone drafted, and to move over here. Alice, I would like you to move away. Oh. Okay then. That works. Dog. Never mind. Could you please treat yourself? The colonists are kind of stupid. Rest until healed. Black. Come and treat him. Thank you. The man was dying. Granted, it would have taken a very long time for him to actually die, but still. That is frustrating. On top of that, if you run around with cuts, you're much more likely to get an infection, which is a much, much more dangerous prospect than just having an open cut. As not only does that put them out of commission for a few days, at least, as you can see, we get a shit ton of bamboo. As not only does this put them out of commission for a few days, it also has the side effect of almost causing them to die. Especially if we are in our particular state where our medicine isn't quite the best, and we're kind of not really... Yeah, bamboo. I don't really like the look of it, personally. Especially when our medicine isn't the best and our doctors are still in training. Let's see, do we have... Yeah, we almost have the kitchen set up. We don't have any wood, though. So I need to set us up with some wood harvesting orders. Wood chopping, rather. Let's get that chopped. Oh, hey! Tasca has finally been recruited, so... we'll just set that as her bed. And let's see. We used Rhyme to copy them over. She doesn't like research. She doesn't care for crafting. She could do art, though. She likes to mine. She does not need to grow. We have 3 growers. That's not important. She does not need to do construction. We have a main constructor and 2 side constructors. As you can see, Alice has been cutting a lot of chunks, so she has been getting a lot of construction skill. She's a very good hunter, though. And negotiation. She's very good at social. So I'm going to have her be another warden. And aside from that, she seems just fine. Let's get her a bow. Burying human corpse. I would like you to actually equip a short bow. Do we have one that's like poor or not awful? Yeah, we have a poor one. Okay. You can have the poor bow. And thankfully she'll be burying this corpse. Which is nice. Okay. So, yeah, there we go. Cigarillos. Let's, yeah, dog is probably going to... Really wish they'd get this fucking thing built so that Rhyme would stop being pissy about sleeping in the rain. Unfortunately, they don't particularly care, or seem to care, at least. In addition, Alice is choosing some strange components to use in her meals. It's unfortunate, however, meals do actually have nutrition. Oh, I should do this before I'm forgetting. There we go. And a heat wave. So, heat waves are good and bad, sort of. They have the unfortunate quality of... Let's see, temperature. Can I make this out of bamboo? Yes, I can. They have the unfortunate quality of being very deadly. Thankfully, as a tribal, we are actually surprisingly better at dealing with heat waves than a spacer would be. Because spacer does not start with these passive coolers. So you know, there's that. And these passive coolers are kind of bad. They only get you to about 15 degrees Celsius. And then they'll just kind of hang around there. They don't really take you any further beyond that. Rare thrombos. Oh, I should probably show you what a thrombo looks like. Let's see. There it is. These giant bastards are thrombos. They are very dangerous. Yeah, let's take a look at this. A gigantic creature of unknown origin. The thrombo is gentle by nature but extremely dangerous when enraged. Its long fur is exceptionally beautiful and valuable, and its razor-sharp horn is very valuable in most markets. Legends say that an old thrombo is the wisest creature in the universe. It simply chooses not to speak. That being said, as you can see, very, very valuable creature. It drops a lot of meat, it drops its horn, it drops its pelt, which is also very valuable. However, let's take a look at its DPS. It does an average damage of 7.36 the entire time, and they're also surprisingly quick creatures. I don't want to hunt this thing without at least some sort of rifle. And even then, I would be reluctant to do so. So, the clubs are actually about as good as we'll get in terms of... speaking of clubs, let's turn this off. And see if we can get another couple. The clubs are probably about as good as we're going to get in terms of melee weapons. It's weird, I've run tests and the Gladius is actually, on average, worse than the club unless it is made of plasteel. However, limestone, that's a poor club. Let's wait until they can make at least a good one. Oh, speaking of cigarillos, we need to manage our drug policies. Select policy, social drugs. So, drugs can be set up to be done. Let's not do ambrosia. Yayo is fine. Coffee, fruit drink, tea, caramel, cigarillos, taffy, hard candy. Drugs are, let's see, if your joy is below 50%. Should be good. Fuck it, that's close enough. And if your joy is below... Well, that's fine. We can just have it be any. And so, they should start smoking up cigarettes. And despite my misgivings in real life, I am not a particular fan of cigarettes. I've just seen, I've seen relations. I've seen relations kill themselves with cigarettes. Could we please? Okay, black. Get the damn bamboo passive coolers done so we don't all die of a heat stroke. Thank you. And also, prioritize this. Kind of having to babysit him for whatever reason. This heat wave appears to be particularly bad as 53 degrees Celsius. I'm fairly sure those are cooking temperatures. But the passive coolers will cool you down pretty well. You can see them already going down. So the way passive coolers work, they're actually a pretty cool thing that actually work in real life. It is a traditional unpowered cooler that works by water evaporation. Will run out and self-destruct after several days. Several days being about 5. Combat supplies from the agency. A caravan from the agency is approaching. They are a combat supplier. This means we can sell them things. Let's wait until morning at least, so that we can sell things without pissing people off by waking them up. He also has a makeshift crucible rifle. Crucible weaponry is kind of bad. And another bad thing is they're going to be eating all of our food. Let's see. Black, I would like you to trade with Gus. This is the trade screen. Learn to love it. You're going to be selling that, these two, that. I'm keeping that one though. Steel Gladius, Steel Glaive. These. There's a reason I wasn't just throwing away the old weaponry. Oh, I want that so bad. I also want this. Do we have? Can we get this? We can get this. I want it. Yeah, it's an assault rifle. It's basically MP5 or whatever. AK-47, I guess, is probably the one that I actually know the name of. It's closer. It's the U.S. military grade standard issue one. Specifically is, I believe, what it's modeled after. But, yeah, I want that. Tasca, you have the best shooting skill of us all. Do kindly go and equip that. Thank you. Black, I would also like you to talk with Gus again. We have something new to sell him. Thank you. Silver is the main currency of this entire world. Ow. What? Black, what do you have? You have a normal club, don't you? But, let's actually take a look at this. So, the Granite Club does 11 damage, and it has a cooldown of 2.90 seconds. At normal, the Limestone Club, at good, does 13 damage, and has a melee cooldown of 2.84 seconds. Who between you two has the higher melee skill character? You have 5, and you have 3. Black, you get the good club. And I would also like you to make a couple more. That's also why I've been making... Tasca has tattered apparel, doesn't she? Let's make her another tribal wear. You can have a cigarette. Balls. So, some might argue I just wasted my money, but fuck you. We got an assault rifle for actually surprisingly cheap. I'm not much of a stickler when it comes to money in this game. Is everyone doing alright? Do any of you have heat stroke? Rhyme I'm mostly worried about. But she mostly does research. What is she doing? She's harvesting wheat. Okay. Should we just find... Oh god. Jesus. That's hot as fuck. Lads, why? Let's hold these doors open. Heat waves are kind of a dick move because they can last potentially forever because the way it's handled is there's a roll every day whether the heat wave is continued or not. Will these passive coolers actually be able to keep up? I don't know. Let's here, let's get them another one. Actually, do we already have it set up for a thing? I don't know. I'm kind of worried though. I also kind of want to hunt that Thrumbo. So, Thrumbo, they're very likely to. I think here, let's check. Warning: Thrumbos will often attack when harmed. That's why I'm reluctant to actually do them. That's why I'm reluctant to actually attack them. We might have to lose some of our crops to it. That's fine. Yeah, it'll eat our crops, as will most animals, and they go through a lot of food. Rhyme. I might just move her bed in here, and how's your heat stroke? Okay, it's much better. But yeah, heat stroke can last potentially forever. Fortunately, it's got reduced chances to continue as time goes on. Let's see. Oh, wow. Well, this is going to be a very long episode. Just looked at the time. It's been about an hour, possibly approaching an hour and a half. But yeah, like I said, this is just one of those games that I could just keep playing and keep talking about things of it, because it's so deep and there's so much shit you can do. It's amazing. Please build those fucking walls. Jesus. Sandstone. Are we out of granite? We might be out of granite. I may have gone a bit overboard when it comes to the granite. I may have done a bad. More floors. We have plenty of sandstone to build with, but granite appears to be an issue. But thankfully Rhyme is fine. I'm just going to do a once over to tobacco. Comfortably numb. Let's take a look at this. Pain times 90%. They feel less pain. They feel 10% less pain, just overall. They don't feel as much. Manipulation up 5%. Moving down 5%. If you add a sweet bun on top of that, then it gets rid of the movement debuff and increases the manipulation buff, which is possibly the best part. The heat wave is over. Thank God. Huh. I was really hoping that wouldn't be like a week-long heat wave. Alice, I made that for Tasca. Why? Why have you done this to her? Why? It was a dick move. Thank you. We should probably hunt things. Like, just noticing, we have a lot of flour and we have sugarcane, but no one's planting this sugarcane. Let's see, who do we have growing? Black is mostly growing, but he does construction first. That's really bad. Hey, what's his dog do? What's he doing? He crafts balls. I'll level down construction so that we can get growing done. Why are you almost breaking? Heaps. Feeling terrible, ugly environment, awful bedroom, uncomfortable, tons of why are you uncomfortable? You have a chair to sit at for most of your shit. Stop this. Stop this madness. This is not madness. This is the Rimworld. No one's happy they're here. Let's stop holding those open. The reason I had them held open is because there's actual airflow in this game. It is simulated, it is slightly poorly simulated, but There's also temperature bleed in this game. I think shelter walls are actually particularly poor about temperature bleed. But the way it works is temperatures will bleed in and out of buildings through walls and doors, especially doors, when they're opening and closing all the time. Let's see. And if you hold a door open, it allows the temperature to just flow as though it were the same room. Oh hey, granite chest table, room, awful, you dick. As you can see, as a good quality granite chest table, it has a beauty of 13. Cover effectiveness of 40, oddly. Don't know how that works. Sell price multiplier, 70%, work to build, shit tons, entertainment strength factor. The better quality it is, the better it entertains people. So it has higher quality, whereas the poor one is only a beauty of 4. The beauty score is why I was so adamant about adding them. Yeah, I'm having them smoke cigarettes because of that manipulation bonus. Okay. I don't know why, but they're taking forever to get the blocks done. Crafting spot. Do we have any good clubs? 4 awful. Oh, these are from hunting a gazelle. Do we still have any skin from? Yeah, we have some skin from it. I have a mod in that increases the... Let's just hunt these. I have a mod in that increases the what's it? What am I thinking of? Let's turn hunting off for you. And then Alice, I want you to do cooking mostly, but you don't really have much to do, so you can hunt a bit more. Now, small notice, there is a chance for this herd to attack us. Oh. I was like, what the fuck is shooting us? Oh yeah, Tasca. Yeah. I forgot I gave you a rifle. Just how much I pay attention. For whatever reason, they also like to maintain maximum distance. Although Tasca, at least until they can be downed, I would like all of these gazelles hauled urgently. The reason I would like them all hauled urgently is because we have a lot of flour, and Alice isn't really making anything. Also, the skins are nice, and the gazelle horns. A gazelle's horn is valuable in most markets. This is a trophy. -4 beauty, which is fine. Market value, 200. Much better. It's just a good way of making silver. On top of that, the meat pies are kind of nice. It's gazelle meat. Simple baked pie with a filling of meat. Beauty, -6. Generally, things are going to be kind of nasty. But it's high nutrition, it's quick to make. It also gives the baked food bonus, which is nice. There's some extra tribalware. It's poor quality, which is eh. Oh, would someone get the fucking wall done? Just this one fucking wall! One! Singular! Rhyme, what are you doing? Oh, you're researching. Okay. Sleeping. How close are we on research? We're about halfway there. Yeah, electricity takes a while. On top of that, it's kind of... eh. How quick is this? Research speed factor. What is affecting this? It's indoors. Has a wooden file cabinet. Base value of 60. Room cleanliness. That affects it? I didn't know this. I'm going to have to end this damn episode at some point. But, well, this is as good a time of any. So, this has been the Rabbit. Rabbit in glasses, I guess, is what I've retermed this. And this has been Rimworld. I do hope all of you are having a just jolly time. Or as good a time as I've been having, because holy shit, this has been fun. As you could probably tell by the length of this episode. It would probably have gone better if I'd have been able to edit things, but unfortunately my computer is a fucking toaster, hooked up to a potato. Oh yeah, You get what you can get, I guess. I'll eventually improve it just when I have money. That is my caveat to that. Jesus, Alice. She's going hard on the pies. Could someone please butcher the gazelle? Hallelujah. Make... This is a stonecutter's table, isn't it? Fuck. Someone was probably shouting at me about that. Gazelles. Someone please butcher these, Alice? Alice, could you kindly butcher these? I'd really like it if you could. Thank you, Alice. The reason I'm so concerned about them being butchered is because we can cook them, cook their meat. The meat does carry over, so it knows that the meat is still fairly close to spoiling. However, the meat pies allow you to add more time to that. And so we're gonna have a lot of fucking meat pies. Just saying. Anyway, as I was saying, this has been the Rabbit in Glasses. And this has been fucking Bandit Camp. And this has been Rimworld. I do hope you all take care and have a good day. I shall see you tomorrow. Or whenever you see this next episode. I don't know. Is it stopping the recording? Let's hope. Why is it not stopping the recording? Hello?